Genghis Khan's final resting place is not known to this day. According to legend, 2,000 people that attended the emperor's burial were butchered by their guards, who in turn were cut down by a second unit of infantry. These soldiers then made their way through the countryside, away from the burial place, and murdered everyone who saw them, so that no trace of their presence or witnesses to their route was left. This final group of men then committed suicide when they returned to their base. Genghis Khan was a terrible man of power and significance.
During his raids on Asia, he is quoted saying, "I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you." This is his story.
This is freaking metal. All right, today we're going to talk about Genghis Khan. We are two avid history buffs and lifelong friends, and this is the Historical Blunders Podcast. But with Genghis Khan, we're going to go through his childhood and his rise. We'll go through how he ran his military, how he ran his empire, and then we'll cover the legacy of Genghis Khan after doing some trivia. That's the plan for today.
So, poor little Temujin. I like saying it like Temujin.
So, to clarify, right, his real name was Temujin growing up.
Yeah.
But, like, for some reason, there's this weird thing that happens when people become emperors where they're like, what do you want your new name to be?
You know, it's like,
your name.
yeah, it's like, okay, you're going to become a professional wrestler. What do you want the fans to call you?
That's not how I was gonna put it.
Oh, how are you gonna put it?
I don't have nothing that interesting. Just like Queen Elizabeth, right? Like, was she Elizabeth before? I don't.
I'm pretty sure her name was Elizabeth.
And then they could, but she got to choose. Like, do you want your name to be Queen Elizabeth, or do you want to be like Queen Jacob?
I know you want to be Queen Jacob, but I don't think that's how it works. I think it's just you go by your formal name.
I think you're wrong. I think you get to choose if you want to change it.
You should Google that. We have this magical device in our hand.
Well, I want to hear about the childhood of
All right, so Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, was born around 1162 near the border between modern Mongolia and Siberia, so probably cold environment. The sad thing is most of this is all just legend.
Well, right, because this era was like 1200
so
AD, right?
And not in Europe. So, like, I mean, there was tribes. Like, a lot of this is just all legend, which kind of sucks, but it's still a cool legend. So, legend holds that he came into the world clutching a blood clot when he was born in his right hand.
Subtle.
Yeah, like, he just came out with a glob of blood in his hand. He's like, this is how I'm going to die, too.
So kings and queens of Britain can change their name.
That is the most obscure thing ever that you would know.
But it's not common.
Oh.
It's only on 3 different occasions that they've chosen a different name. Queen Victoria had been christened Alexandria Victoria. I don't know, whatever. But yeah.
Oh, all right.
The more you know.
So,
what would you change your name to?
Ooh.
You know what? I've
Jacob.
always liked the name Khan.
Not Chenghis?
No, I don't know why. I thought
Khan.
that's a good fitting name for me.
Did you like Star Trek growing up or something?
No, I think it was Calm, like with an M. Yeah. So you're looking at me like I got 2 heads. You ever thought about that? Like, what would be the perfect name for me?
I got a couple. Dumb fuck.
I'm not saying what you would call me, but what you would call yourself. I don't have to put this on the show.
I don't fucking know.
The answer then is just no.
King Nate.
I think a lot about stuff. I don't really work.
I was gonna say you need a more challenging job then, sir.
Yeah. Well, not lately. Not lately.
All right, so Temujin. Genghis Khan, had a legacy of being kind of rude to women. I think he learned that from his father, because his mother was kidnapped by his father and forced into marriage.
Romantic.
Yes. So at the time,
That's how I met my wife.
you just went to the rival.
You're coming with me.
You just went to the rival tribe.
I'm not saying it's funny.
Yeah. So
Or okay. I'm not saying it's okay.
you're not saying it's okay to kidnap your wife.
Not in America.
Not in America. That's right. But in the 1200s in Mongolia / Serbia, that was probably common practice.
Things were a little different.
Yeah. So at that time, dozens of nomadic tribes were like constantly fighting, stealing from each other. So Temujin, Genghis Khan, grew up in a very violent and brutal time.
I mean, seeing how he turned out, I didn't think, he was growing up in the burbs and, had a nice house.
No.
Clarence's parents had a real great marriage.
His father was poisoned before he turned 10
Right.
and died.
That's what it sounds like.
His own clan deserted him, his mother and 6 siblings. So the clan deserted him and his family in order to keep the clan from starving, save them, food. From a young age, he was already like forced to contend for life and everything. So he just kind of...
He was like a Spartan.
Spartans, it's weird because they were like born and then like strict military their whole life.
Yeah.
This is just brutal tribes going after each other. Like, it's not really like warfare, it's just brutality. Blood and gore and poisoning and starvation. Pillaging. Yeah. During his teenage years, rival clans abducted him and his young wife.
Yep. I remember reading about that.
They also think he may have murdered his own half-brother.
Yep.
In a dispute over food, which, I mean, starvation makes you do crazy things.
That's true. Like if you have fear in your life, it shuts off parts of your brain.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing that, like, he lived in a terrible time frame and ended up doing pretty well for himself. He's an emperor.
Yeah.
Not saying he was a good guy, right?
No.
There was... Yeah.
Yeah, so in his early 20s, he had established himself as, a warrior and a leader. And actually got, like, a nice clan going on with him. He began actually, like, bringing the different tribes and everything together. And they said that by 1206, he had actually, like... That was wet.
I threw an ice cube at you. No, right. Daddy,
flinch,
no.
Flinch.
No, Daddy, no. You hit the wall and bounced back at me.
That worked. All right, so...
But I gotta make another drink.
Oh, all right, yeah, make another drink while I talk. So he actually successfully consolidated all of the tribes under his own banner and everything, which is kind of cool. But what's kind of crazy to me is that for being, Genghis Khan, one of the, like, history's, like, most feared people / like strongest emperors and everything. Genghis
Khan.
I did learn that a lot of the stuff was written by Arabic historians and stuff.
Okay.
And so that's why it's Genghis Khan, not Genghis Khan, because that's, I guess, his real name is Cengiz.
Okay. Makes more sense.
Yeah, they didn't have a letter for Ch in their language.
He's the one that changed his name, right, when he became emperor.
And so, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, his name was Temujin.
Yeah.
So, that's not Genghis Khan.
No. But yeah, so very little is actually known about his personal life. Like, it's all just legend and folklore and stuff like that. I mean, clearly we knew someone existed named this man and did a lot of horrible things and then died, and we have no idea where he is.
40 million people didn't just die for fun.
You sure?
Someone had to kill him.
But what is kind of crazy is that no one actually really knew what he looked like either.
Yeah, that's what I read too.
So like all the the drawings, the statues, paintings, and stuff like that. Like, it's all just kind of guessing. And
I don't really think it was part of like Mongolian culture to do that.
no,
So
I
it's
don't really
like there's
think so.
not a ton of like if it was like, oh yeah, we love making paintings of important people, then we'd probably have a bunch of stuff of it. But I don't think that was part of their culture.
Yeah, so
They had
like
different emphases.
like most accounts of this actually describe him as a tall, strong person,
I mean,
which I don't know what.
he
Tall
certainly
is.
wasn't a wimp. I mean,
No.
read about his stories. My goodness.
No, exactly. And saying he had a flowing mane of hair and a long bushy beard. So, one of the weirdest descriptions comes from a 14th century Persian chronicler, Rashad al-Din, possibly related to Jason al-Din, I don't know. Probably not. But he said that Genghis Khan had red hair and green eyes.
I don't know how much I believe that.
Yeah. Well,
Red hair.
Yeah. And
That's an Irish thing.
And what's funny is
Was he
that
from Ireland?
this dude never met him or anything, so it's like, how do you fucking know?
He's a storyteller.
Exactly. He just asked people that may have seen him. They're like, I don't know. There was just blood everywhere. Maybe he had red hair, green eyes, blue fire. Are you having fun over there?
Yeah,
Is that my spoon?
I'm trying to stir. Yeah, it is. I had to borrow it.
Oh.
I had to borrow your spoon so I could stir my drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe there's not a whole lot that's known for sure. It sounds like,
Like, I think I might just make one up.
like he was just
I might just add a legend.
no one will know the difference.
I mean, I could be right on something, maybe.
Speak confidently.
Yeah.
People believe you if you say anything.
Be like, man, he was really a cool guy.
No, so that's his childhood, right? I'm gonna cover the Genghis Khan military and then his empire. But to start, we're going through the military. So here's one of his quotes: "Heaven grew weary of the excessive pride and luxury of China. I am from the barbaric north. I wear the same clothing and eat the same food as the cow herds and horse herders. We make the same sacrifices and we share our riches. I look upon the nation as a newborn child, and I care for my soldiers as though they were my brothers." So that's a pretty impressive quote.
It is.
That's a quote, I could get behind if that guy was my leader, And that came obviously when he was invading parts of China at the time. Because it was like, man, wherever he went, it was just like he dominated.
Yeah.
So going into that, right, his tactics, and it's like, when I first started reading into this, right, you thought, okay, Genghis Khan, he was just this psycho raider, right? That's always how I thought of him, was horses, they raid, they're brutal, they kill a ton of people, they take women and children as slaves and stuff, not good stuff. But actually, like, they had a military. It wasn't like just this... like a Viking style raider force, like they had trebuchets, they had catapults and battering rams, they did have a lot of cavalry.
Yeah, like it was an actual
organized. It was a real
effort.
huge military, right? But he emphasized speed and mobility in his units, so that was one of his thing. And something he was really good at was using psychological warfare. So surprise attacks, espionage, one of his favorite tactics was a faked retreat, which is kind of interesting. So he would simulate like, okay, send out a weak force and have them withdraw, and the enemies would chase them, right? And then bring them into a position where they're vulnerable, and then they would just obliterate and destroy, right? So like that's, he had some art of war in there. And tactics were important to him, and like as a part of the psychological thing, he like built this rep of a complete utter like psychopath, ruthless slaughter.
Yeah,
right. He would like when they captured an army, they would kill almost all of them. Like we'll go through some of the massacres later on, but it's not like your mom's massacres, okay? like these are
not
like
the massacre I left in the toilet.
Like seriously, he affected cultures with how many people he murdered.
Yeah.
like by his hand. We'll go through later in detail, but he was really good at, like, when he went in those situations, he would slaughter literally hundreds of thousands of people, like women, men, children. And then he would release a couple to, like, go spread his story. And those people were probably like, dude, there's like a really bad guy coming, and like you guys should really leave.
So how many of those people do you think got captured and at a different place, and then, like, do you think they got away more than once?
Like he,
Like, do you think
built
he, like,
up his influence on him?
He, like, lines them up. Hey,
don't know.
who's been here before?
I feel like you need to have more than just like one really influenced guy, though. If you had like 50, I would be more freaked out. If someone came to a city and was like, dude, this guy is coming, not your best friend, you need to get out of here. I'd be like, go fuck yourself. We have a wall, okay?
But then, like,
around our
50 people
city.
show up and you're like, oh.
Yeah, if 50 people are like crying and they're like, I've seen things, I'd be like, okay, guys, it's time to. We'll set the
I
women.
saw my mom's intestines.
We'll put the women out front.
Sacrifice them.
I mean, that's what people ended up doing, was they would, like, lay out everything he would want for them.
Here's all of our treasure.
all their riches and stuff, and be like,
here's our
don't.
most beautiful women.
Yeah, seriously. And then that was how they tried to. Yeah. Anyways, so as you know, his what do you call reputation kind of precedes him, right? He is a psychopath.
Yes.
He's really good at building his crazy reputation that he has. But there's more to it than that. The way he led his military was based off meritocracy. So it was usually, at that time, it was like, who do you know, right? And then you put the people in charge that you know.
Yeah, like usually like your friends and people you trust.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Well, I like, okay, your loser cousin that, like, isn't really capable gets a job doing something he's not really
qualified for.
Right.
Yeah, and this whole thing is something I think is pretty sweet. And
right. So
crazy.
He would promote leaders based on their merit and, like, aristocratic. Every time I say aristocratic, I can't help myself.
Yeah,
when I say
you married a
aristocrat.
Disney lady.
Yeah, I did.
The aristocrats.
Yeah, so he promoted leaders based off their merit, not like what was their status, is the point I'm trying to make. So he would even promote talent that he would get from militaries he conquered.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, this guy, like, he's not our side, but
he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Like, the people from that military said, like, hey, man, that guy is something. You know, he's the bee's knees. He had a good eye for that, and he would put that guy in charge.
Good eye for talent.
Right. Yeah. Which, like, must have been part of the reason why he grew his empire so large. Because, like, you had to have...
Well, you conquer armies. Like, I mean, yeah, you could eliminate them all, but also, like, absorb them.
Yeah, well, I mean, to grow, you know, exponentially like that, you had to be doing the right thing. You know, if he promoted his cousin Billy, you know, he probably wouldn't have got as big.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know a lot of Mongolians named Billy.
So he rewarded loyalty and bravery, and he fostered a culture of excellence and loyalty. So, you know, not super surprising, but discipline and training was a big part of his military as well. They had really strict discipline among troops. So if you disobeyed orders during battle, or if you deserted, you, like, instantly executed, like, dead. They would just kill you. So, you know, a lot of pressure not to do that.
A lot of pressure not to fuck up.
Right.
Dude, I would be dead so fast.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
I'd kill someone, they'd be like, that's the wrong person. God damn it.
Fire. Cut
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Don't pay your taxes. Straight to jail. So, obviously, you know, what they did, too, that was kind of different, was they had a regular training schedule for the military. So, it wasn't like you got trained, and then you absorbed a core, and they just kind of did things the way you wanted to. It was like you had a strict, this is your way that we're going to train you guys. It's going to be every half year or something like that. And that's how he kept a highly skilled and efficient army all the way spread out through his, gigantic freaking empire.
Yeah.
Right? So you might hear some of that stuff and you'd be like, oh, well, maybe he's a good leader, right? Maybe he's not such a bad guy.
He's a good leader.
Yeah. Well,
horrible guy.
Yeah, so, right. So I want to go right from that and slap you in the face with his massacres. Because, especially in like this one chapter here, he went fucking psycho, right? Oof. So here's the story, right? The Khwarezmian Empire, which is really like in the Middle East, they had made a deal with him to establish trade on what they call the Silk Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically a bad deal went awry. The Mongol traders were executed as they were thought to be spies by like this governor of one of the towns in that area. So Genghis then sent an envoy to the Shah of the empire to say like, hey, let's work this out. I think that guy needs to be replaced so that we can, have this deal keep going on. Because obviously I'm not super happy about them killing my guys, And it was kind of like I don't think he did anything wrong. Like, he went and said, hey, that guy needs to be replaced. We can't have my guys getting killed, because they think they're spies. It's like, no, we're just trying to make money,
Yeah, the Silk Road was a lot of money.
Right. So the problem is the Shah then executed the envoy guy as well. So obviously Genghis wasn't super happy about that.
No.
So he then got his empire's army together and went and like erased a culture from history, basically. He went into the Middle East, and I'm going to talk about 3 different cities where he massacred the city. And I'm not saying like, oh, he, they didn't take any prisoners and they killed all the military, right? No, he killed the women, children,
everybody
in the city. So in Nishapur, Iran, in 1221, it's estimated, and I know this is like, obviously this was 800 years ago, so it might be exaggerated. I wasn't there. But the number is 1.7 million people were massacred.
That is just insane.
Right. So cats, dogs, and vermin even were executed. So it's wild.
Like, they just found every living thing there.
Yeah.
And killed it. Yeah.
I mean, at the city gates, what they were doing were cutting off the heads of people, and they piled it into a giant pyramid for people to see and be like, holy shit,
Imagine being like, I'm gonna go check on Nishapur and see what's going on over there. Oh,
no bueno.
No bueno.
So the next city is Herat in Iran. That was also in 1221. The estimated number of execution was 1.6 million. So like I said, it's likely to be inflated, but still,
right off the bat,
something happened.
Yeah, 3.3 million people.
So as part of that, right, there was a rebellion brewing against him. So he went there and just decided, hey, all of you are no longer allowed to be alive.
Yeah.
So he did that to try and deter like future rebellions.
You're gonna rebel? Think again.
Right. So, and the last one I have is Merv, Turkmenistan.
Merv.
And this is a small one, right? 700,000 people were
only 700,000.
But it was another one trying to eliminate like resistance in the area. The Merv had resisted the Mongol conquest, and it was to, secure the region. But if you look at like, I looked at Merv on the Google Maps because of this, and all that's there is just ruins. Like it looks like the pyramids of Giza, but like obviously not as cool, right? Like, but it's literally like nothing's there anymore.
I know Herat's still a city.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and Nishapur, I feel like that is too.
But they didn't rebuild Merv, at least not to the level that
It was.
right? I mean, there was a ton of people there.
Well, yeah, 700,000 people. That's not a small area.
No, how much is Rockford?
150.
Holy shit.
I mean, that's just the city of Rockford, not including like Loves Park. And
Yeah,
Chelsea
but
Park
still, it's like all that area is
Yeah.
like what he had massacred.
Yeah, so that'd be like 4.5 Rockfords worth of people he just eliminated.
I mean, the level of murder that is like truly devastating.
Well,
to
just
think about.
between Nishapur and Herat, that's the entire city of Chicago.
I mean,
Chicago's 3 million people.
There's some statistic about how many people he killed on the planet. Wasn't
it was like 16%?
Yeah, look it up, because it's some crazy. Like literally, the world's population took a dip because this psychopath, So obviously, I mean, he had means of setting up his military well, but like, dude, give people a break. Like maybe take out the leader. Don't kill all the people, you psycho.
Yeah.
But
sorry. One estimate is about 10% of the world's population.
I saw 10 or 11%.
Was either killed either during or immediately after the Mongol invasions.
Which 10% of the world.
Yes. So roughly 37.75 to 60 million people in that area. So 60 million is obviously the high number.
Yeah, to think about it like that, like think about what the world would look like today if maybe Genghis had a good father figure.
If you didn't have a broken home. Yeah, I mean, honestly, 10% of the population, I mean, even just at that time is insane, but like, that's entire lineages of people that were wiped off the face of the earth.
I mean, because population is like, it changes, right? But it's usually an exponential growth. And
so even if you think about that,
a dip really affected history.
So just think 40-ish million people he killed was 10%. Like, I mean, that's only 400 fucking million people on the planet. Now we got, what was it, like 6 point something?
I don't know.
Billion? I don't know.
All I know is if he didn't do that, killing all those people, I'd probably be able to fly a jetpack to work.
Probably.
Life would be a little bit cooler. We might have fusion energy, nerd stuff.
7.951 billion people in the world right now. So, I mean, since then,
yeah.
I mean, that's 400-ish million people in the world altogether.
Yeah, Genghis, maybe take a break.
Like, yeah.
So maybe stop and do some fishing or something. But anyways, that's the military of Genghis Khan. The next thing I'm going to cover is the empire and how he ran his governance, which I think is kind of interesting, right? Because obviously you can tell with some of his military tactics, he was a pretty intelligent guy, right? You don't get to that level unless you're intelligent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most psychopath serial killers are highly intelligent.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that guy with the...
With the what?
The one who ate gay people. The famous one, they just did a documentary last year. Oh yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. Was Jeffrey Dahmer intelligent?
I don't think he really was. He's from Wisconsin.
He seemed. Sam's not gonna like that.
Sorry, Sam. But
he's from. It was Milwaukee, right? He was in. Yeah.
So kind of get away from that for a sec. Just in today's numbers of people, it'd be like 795 million people Genghis Khan would have murdered to put that in the same percentage as back then. By that logic, it'd be like 2.5 entire United States' worth of people.
Wow.
Yeah, we're only 333.
That's what I mean. Like
this dude
10% is not insignificant.
That is a lot. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in a world who is going through a hard time, Therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com.
That's right, Nate. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Yeah, I'm really glad we chose BetterHelp as a sponsor for this podcast because I've had people in my own life that have struggled with mental health and anxiety and depression. And therapy was something that definitely helped them overcome those struggles. And now they're in a much better place.
Yeah, I mean, I use BetterHelp, and so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really talking about you.
Oh.
BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days.
And sometimes faster. It only took a couple hours for me.
That's right. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/historicalblunderspod.
All one word.
That's right. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and get the support that you need.
And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost, without stressing about insurance, who's in network, or anything like that.
So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/historicalblunderspod.
And that's betterhelphelp.com.
Anyways, so I'm going to move on to the empire, right? So in 1206, Genghis was tearing up stuff enough where he had a council of Mongols and their nomadic tribes. And they were like, hey, you know what? I think Genghis knows what he's doing. He should be our emperor. So in 1206, they established the empire that would eventually grow to be the second biggest empire in history, which is only second to the Britain.
And it is the biggest land empire. Britain had the biggest empire for population.
Yeah, and Britain kind of cheated, right? It wasn't freaking Britain. It was all the little colonies.
Well, yeah, there was a million different areas they colonized.
Yeah, it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Britain sucks.
They do. Sucky losers. But, yeah.
Beans for breakfast.
Idiots. I don't know, that Spud man. Have you seen him? He has like a potato truck in Great Britain. And he fucking puts beans on a baked potato and makes me want to puke every time.
That doesn't
by the way, I lied. Serial killers tend to have normal range of IQ. Sorry.
Nice fact checking. It takes a lot of, gusto to admit you're wrong.
I'm sorry, fans of the show. I'm a liar.
No, you're just an idiot.
Oh, all right. I'll take that. I'm just an idiot. I always thought they were smarter, but maybe they're just smarter than me.
All right. Anyway, so getting into how he ran things, right? It all started with his legal code, what they called the Yasa. And it was basically like a universal legal code that applied to all subjects, even, right, high-ranking officials. So it's important. It's kind of like the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill other people or something. Which,
that's the commandments.
Yeah, I know, but like, yeah, it's a similar thing though, right? I mean, like, here's your like hard line rules. Yes. Don't do this, right? And you know what's kind of funny is adultery was a crime, and like marriage laws were really like strengthened and
which is insane when you speak about.
I don't know if you ever heard about Genghis Khan.
He liked to get it on.
Yeah, when he was raiding, he I mean.
Obviously,
it's not funny.
All the decapitation obviously turned him on.
Right. So either way,
so much
in his empire, adultery was met with execution. So just like a little side note too, execution was typically beheading.
Yep.
In his time, but they also did crushing, your favorite.
Yeah, pressing.
Just like what's his nuts.
I also heard they boiled people alive.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's funny. What I want to mention too about the crushing is it was seen as like an honorable death.
Oh, we're not just gonna decapitate you. We're gonna crush you.
Like you're a good guy to kill. We respect you.
You're an outstanding citizen, minus you fucking your neighbor.
I feel like crushing would hurt more than beheading. Does beheading hurt when it happens?
Depends on how fast it happens.
Well, I don't think that. It's not like they're there with a saw. Like
they might be. He's pretty brutal.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's why they did the guillotine was painless.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Also, just to do a cool.
I mean, it looks like fun, right? Pull the string and.
Yeah, we'll build one.
What?
We'll do it on like watermelon or something.
Not with this kids around. I don't trust.
All right, that's fair. We do have kids. Fine. Take all the fun out of it.
Anyways, it's really kind of interesting. Like even high-ranking people, if they broke his laws, like we're under the same scrutiny. You know, like that's not bad. That's not bad. There's a lot about Genghis where you're like, okay, Genghis.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's almost frustrating, right? You don't want to root for him. He's Darth Vader.
I don't know. I kind of root for Vader though,
but he just sounds so sexy.
It sounds like me trying to do anything in life. I'm not
saying Darth Vader.
What?
I'm not saying Darth Vader.
Oh.
But that quote in the beginning of our show,
dude,
where he says, I'm going to say it again. I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. Like, that's awesome. You know?
I think I would just cry. I'd be like, I'm sorry.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and I'd get decapitated.
Like, yeah, that's just the kind of insane person he was. But other than, so, you know, there's the legal code of Yasa that was used, and I think that kind of brought some solidarity to his empire.
Yeah.
But he also developed a really efficient system of communication called the YAM system. So it was a network of relay stations that would have like a guy with a couple fresh horses where he would get a message and run it to the next relay station as fast as he could.
Couldn't he just call it the sweet potato system?
Oh my God. You think about that a lot when you're reading it?
When I saw YAM, yeah. I was debating on saying it.
There's a voice in here that's like,
just do it.
That's like sweet potato. That sounds like sweet potatoes. God damn it. But yeah, it was like every 50 kilometers, right? And it works really good with how goddamn big his empire was. That he could still like manage all the little pieces of it, you know, without too much headache.
That's how you keep an empire together. You'd be able to
efficient communication, right? So the other thing he did was he had a decentralized administration. So he delegated a lot of his authority to trusted generals. And remember, he put people in those places based off their merits and not off their societal positions, their aristocracy.
Meow.
So he was able to rely on them to make intelligent decisions, you know, and let them have their own control. It wasn't like it's my empire and every little piece is going to do exactly what I want and I'm going to make all those decisions. It was like he had like a state system.
Yeah.
Where it was like they had their own control over a lot of stuff where he didn't have to make those decisions. So, yeah, I mean, it worked out really good for him because of that reason. It's one of the reasons why, you know, their empire could get that big.
Yeah.
You know, it's freaking huge. It was like all of Russia and
most of Asia,
right?
It was basically from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea.
He was eating into China, right? Yeah. And he was in the Middle East. So it was like, God damn, dude.
I did see a thing, though, of, you know, the Great Wall of China. You know, you're always taught, like, it was to keep the Mongols out. The Great Wall.
Is it not?
Well, it was actually to protect the Silk Road.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But also it just got built into sections. So eventually, yes, a section did get built to keep the Mongols out. But they failed because they just went around the edge of it.
Classic.
Yeah, you know.
Walls don't always work.
Nope. Especially when there's just gaping holes in them.
Anyways, so yeah, a couple other things, right? He did a lot of trade on the Silk Road. Like you said, there was a ton of money in that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing he did push was having safe passages for people on the Silk Road, right? Because you imagine back then, right, you probably getting robbed left and right.
Well, you need money for your empire.
You need reliable transit,
Yes.
right? And I think he worked on that.
And that was a good way to do that, yeah.
Other little thing, right? He was a religious freedom person.
Yeah. Would not expect that.
Yeah, so I don't. It's good because like there's no way you can have an empire that big and be like, all right, we're all gonna do this.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, in that area, you have so many different religions.
Yeah. Right. It's almost like a separation of church and state, like way early, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to the stuff he did that was not a bad idea. It was probably way ahead of his time.
Yes.
I would say, right? Now, the, raping and pillaging thing, obviously, not so good.
Yeah. But he did know how to do the governing of his empire.
Right, and the way he ran his military and his government was really not bad.
But usually the leaders that all do, the religious freedoms, those are the ones that last longer.
Right, for sure.
Especially with, that size of an empire. You don't want to constantly be at war with a specific group.
Right. It probably helped to qualm, like, rebellions, right? That and the fact that he would just go erase your city if you did rebel. I don't know about you, but I'd be like, I'm just going to do my job.
That's the thing is, yes, he delegated a lot of the work out and everything. But imagine being those people that's like, oh, he's putting me in charge. I am not going to fuck this up.
Yeah. There's a little bit of an intimidation factor going on. Like, did you hear what he hear what he did to Merv? The city's gone.
Merv is gone.
But anyways, that's how he ran his empire. A little glimpse into that. So after this, we're going to go into our trivia section. I believe it's time for trivia. All right, in today's trivia section, we are not going to call anyone because no one talked to us about doing trivia with us.
And we also didn't ask anybody.
And we also didn't really ask anybody. But if you are interested in calling into trivia next week,
reach out to us.
Reach out to us. Give us a holla, and we'll do it. It'll be fun.
It'll be very.
It takes like 10 minutes.
And please. I promise I'll hit record.
Tell your friends. I'm going to ask this. Did they love or hate Genghis Khan during the 20th century Soviet Union? Because you would think Soviet Union, Russia.
I feel like yes, in like just to shoot out of it, you'd think that they would love him.
No, they hated him.
Oh,
because they were trying to push away Mongolian nationalism.
Oh yeah, that was a huge thing.
Yep. So they were like trying to push away the heroes of Mongolia, right? Not that he was necessarily a good guy, but he was a guy.
But it did help form Mongolia.
Yeah, I mean it's part of their culture, right?
Yeah.
So, 20th century Soviet Union, they did not like Genghis Khan. Next question. This is kind of a funny story. Well, I mean, depends what you think is funny. While raiding a siege at Termez, Uzbekistan, a woman claimed she swallowed some valuable goods after she was then cut open and her claims were confirmed. All women of the city were then ordered to meet the same fate to see if they had goods in their tummies.
I feel like in her mind, she was like, they won't kill me. I swallowed this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, let's see.
So let me ask this. What goods did she have in her stomach? Was it diamonds?
Okay.
Rubies?
Okay.
Gold? Or pearls?
Uzbekistan. I'm guessing rubies.
No. It was pearls.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently
I was
they
trying-
got excited and cut opens everyone's stomach, you know.
Ooh, these white shiny rocks are awesome.
Cut them all open.
Do all women have pearls? All right, I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
It's going to be a, typical Nate question. It's going to be really hard. Are you ready?
I'm so smart. You don't even know.
Yeah. Is Mongolian beef Mongolian?
This makes sense as a you question.
It's the first thing that pops
It's
in my
actually
head.
not hard. I have a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I would say it's not.
You are correct. It was made in Taiwan.
Which is a really far ways away.
They're just like, well, Taiwan's an island. That's the even better part.
They're eating the beef. They're like, dude, this is pretty freaking metal.
Let's just call it Mongolia. So I guess Mongolian barbecue was a thing.
Is that right?
But from what I read, it really wasn't
What makes
Mongolian.
barbecue Mongolian?
I don't know. Let's Google that. Ask your next question. I'll figure out what.
All right, my last question. Was he responsible for the most Was he responsible for the most deaths in history or not?
I'm still going to say no.
No, he was not. He was number 2. He was at, I think, 40 million deaths, which
Is insane.
But Mao Zedong was number 1.
What's his death total?
Chinese rulers in the mid 1900s. 60 million. 50% more than Genghis Khan's. Either way, man, Jesus, guys, go have a Pop-Tart, relax. What do you got to do to kill 60 million people? It was Mao Zedong. It was when he was trying to change the culture, and just if people didn't listen to him, he just would wipe them out like nothing.
Yeah.
This is that economic reform chapter in China's history.
So
Psychopath.
Mongolian grills and barbecues have nothing to do with Mongolia. However, the reason they call it that is because they prepare the meat by slicing it with swords. So they're like, watch me slice this beef brisket. It's Mongolian.
No, dude, that's just a knife.
It's just a really big knife.
Well, thanks for not wasting our time.
With a hard question?
Yeah, I'm color me surprised,
Well, I did have a
proud of you.
question about, the descendants of Mongolia and Genghis Khan, but I kind of talked about it already. Oops. So, yeah, 1 in 8 people in that area have the same descendant, which they can't confirm is Genghis Khan,
but
but are almost certain it is. And then it's 1 in 200 people in the world, which is still insane.
Genghis spread his seed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not in a friendly way.
Is there really a friendly way?
I don't. If you were, there is a friendly way. I would say there is.
Okay.
Not saying it's a holy way.
I mean, it isn't a hole.
Oh God. Jesus. That's why we're such good friends. We're not recording. Just kidding.
Shit.
Anyways,
That could be
let's do
so
trivia
bad.
again. Anyways, that's our trivia section. So we covered a lot of stuff so far to get you a deeper picture of Genghis Khan, but Nate's going to talk about just kind of his final legacy and his footprint on history.
So, obviously, still, no one really knows much.
Right, detailed information.
Which is still insane that we have all this other stuff about his empire and everything, but there's nothing.
What does his face
about
look
him.
like? Come on.
So yeah, not knowing how he died or where he is, they just know that he died in 1227, which is kind of insane that it's basically 21 years of him reigning, and that just
Well, 5 years earlier, right? He was leveling a culture. in the Middle East?
6 years.
Okay, all right,
1221.
thanks. 6 years, honey. Classic. I feel like we've gone the whole episode without hearing it.
I've been trying to keep it quiet. There's a lot of information I didn't want to interrupt it.
It's a pretty interesting tell with him, right?
Yeah.
He's freaking crazy, but he wasn't an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we already kind of touched upon it, like, with his postal system and everything. Like,
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah, the yam. But yeah, with no one really knowing how he died or where he's buried, the traditional narrative is that he fell from a horse.
Wah, wah, wah.
Like,
isn't that how that guy in Scotland died too? That started the rebellions in Scotland. We talked about William Wallace.
Someone we've covered fell off a horse and died, I think.
Yeah, no, that was definitely it. You were too drunk to remember.
Yeah. So, most likely, the tomb is on or around a Mongolian mountain called Burkhan Khaldun.
Right, and even what they did too, I didn't mention earlier in the opening, but they had horses trample over his grave. Like they had a herd of horses like go back and forth a couple times to try and like hide
the ground.
And I was asking my friends at work, and I have great friends at work. Tyler, my boy, Tyler, Chris, Charlotte, Mary Rose.
Poor Charlotte.
Poor Charlotte.
Yeah, wasn't she on her show?
She was on her show. Yeah,
that poor lady.
It was fun.
It was fun.
No, there's a lot of Chris too, and a lot of other people I'm forgetting. Nolan, my boy. He's my boy. We go to Chipotle together. It's a lot of fun.
That's cute.
It is cute. Yeah, we're good friends.
I hate Chipotle.
We have kids the same age, and they our kids get along super well. Oh, it's really awesome.
Our kids don't get along.
Your daughter's much younger. They get along just fine. What are you talking about? I was like trying to justify it. I'm like, no, they play just fine. They probably miss playing with each other. It's been a while since we've done this and had the kids together, actually.
You were just over here like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, when we ate that stupid gummy bear.
Dude, yeah, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, no more gummy bears. Damn it. That was horrible.
I think we're done. But I was asking people at work, right? Why did he go to such lengths? Because it was literally the people who went to his burial service all got massacred. And then the army people that killed those people got massacred. And with the understanding that those people would then go home, killing everyone in their way, kind of,
and then
commit suicide.
How many of them do you think actually committed suicide?
Yeah, I don't. It's a good question, right?
None of them.
I think I'd go home and be like, all right, I promised I would do this, and be like,
he ain't gonna yell at me this time.
But tomorrow, we're having Mongolian beef, and it sounds really good.
Sounds so good.
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing. This is all 800 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So it's who knows for sure. But I think it came up in Asian cultures a lot of times. Respect for descendants is very important, and desecrating graves has an impact on your status in the afterworld, right? Or your ancestral presence, right? Yeah, right.
They're hanging out. That's Mongolian too.
Ooh, is that? Well, the Mongolians attack.
Oh no, that's the Huns. Isn't that the Huns?
But either way, it's just different cultures are different. It's very interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, we already kind of briefly talked about the Soviets trying to snuff out the memory of Mongolia. Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm an idiot.
Your words.
I'll gladly call myself an idiot anytime because it gets me out of being responsible for stuff. But the Silk Road, once again, he kind of helped it prosper so well, and it ended up continuing.
So I'll be honest, I don't know much about it. Where did it go from?
Asia to Europe.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I bet that was a lot of money.
So you're getting the horses, porcelain, jewels, silk, paper, gunpowder, spices. Like, basically, that was their way of trading Asian goods with Europe.
I mean, that probably took a long time for something to travel that far. Like, there's no next day service from Amazon.
No, you got next year service from the Mongols.
Well, it's probably a thing, though, if you have a constant supply going, right? You'd be like, oh, yeah, next week's shipment of silk is on its way or something,
You got that email? Oh, my silk's shipped. It'll be here in 3 to 6 months.
Like a recurring, what I mean?
No.
Like every 2 days, someone leaves with something.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is probably what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is probably why it's so important that there's not robberies going on it, right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it basically, they protected it. And so it just was profitable.
Money.
Money. When's my baby?
I hear your child getting a bath.
Yeah, say it's bath time.
It's bath time.
So, yeah, that's it on Genghis Khan,
Temujin, who then evolved into Genghis Khan.
But also Genghis Khan.
A complicated figure who was a psychopath and a killer. Also did things pretty well.
Also knew how to run an empire.
Wasn't a ding-dong.
Was not. Imagine if he was stupid.
He was a lot smarter than you and me.
Yes.
You think so? I think he was smarter.
I don't know. I'm pretty fucking smart. I'm dumb as shit. All right. So, yes, that is our episode.
Next episode, we're going to do Watergate.
Yes, Watergate.
I'm just going to say it. We're going to do Watergate. I want to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a while.
I am not a crook.
Right. That'll be said a lot.
Yes. Oh, we should get Nixon masks.
What did water have to do with it? Check in next week to find out.
Oh, nice. But yes, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
Yep, we're very active on Facebook. And please leave a review and a comment on
TikTok.
Apple Podcasts. We're on TikTok and all sorts of stuff. But mostly Facebook, I would say.
Please watch our reel of us eating the stupid gummy bear because that sucked and...
Four people watched it.
I feel like we should...
The analytics on it were really bad. It was like, it hurt so bad to watch, to do it.
Yeah. So, people, please watch it. It hurt. I feel like we at least deserve 100 views for that.
Dude, Nate threw up right after.
Not right after, but yeah, I did throw up. But it was so funny is literally I threw up just that little gummy bear. Nothing else in my stomach. Just that my body needed to get rid of it. Like, it literally sat at the top of my stomach just burning. Oh, it hurt so bad. Do not recommend.
I should drop the video of you opening the bathroom door and be like, I threw up.
I was really hoping it was going to be at the end of the video.
Yeah, I think I'll redo the video and release it. Because it's a funny video.
It is a funny video.
But you gotta sit and watch it, though.
Yeah.
No one wants to sit and watch stuff.
I don't know. I watch videos.
Because you're a loser, man.
That's fair. I am a loser. But yeah, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We still have shot glasses if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Let us know where to ship them.
Yes, we will give you a free shot glass.
We still got them. And we're not changing the name.
So they're still relevant.
Woo! So anyways, you guys have a nice week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep, bye.